Let's take a moment to look closer at the concept of culture. Despite hundreds of subtly different definitions of culture in the anthropological literature, this situation does not hobble anthropology. Instead, it's a sign of a vigorous discipline. English scholar Sir Edward B. Taylor was a founding figure of cultural anthropology. Taylor defined culture as the complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, laws, morals, customs, and any other capabilities acquired by man as a member of society. Since Taylor's time, anthropologists have developed many theories of culture. Across these theories, we identify 7 basic elements that anthropologists agree are crucial to any theory of culture. Culture is learned. Culture uses symbols. Cultures are dynamic, always adapting and changing. Culture is integrated with daily experience. Culture shapes everybody's life. Culture is shared. The process of learning a culture begins at birth, and that's partially why our beliefs and conduct seem so natural. We've been doing and thinking in certain ways since we were young. Anthropologists call this process of learning the cultural rules and logic of a society enculturation. Anthropologist Clifford Geertz proposed that culture is a system of symbols, a symbol being something that conventionally stands for something else, through which people make sense out of the world. For example, the American flag. Geertz's interpretive theory of culture is the idea that culture is embodied and transmitted through symbols. Anthropologists today talk less about culture as a totally coherent and static system of meaning, in other words, a thing, and more about culture as a process through which social meanings are constructed and shared. Attention to these cultural processes shows how culture is dynamic. Modern cultural anthropologists pay close attention to relationships of power and inequality in their analysis of cultural processes. Understanding the changing culture of any group requires understanding who holds power and how they acquired this influence. Our values and beliefs are shaped by many integrated elements of life experience that can be grouped under the term culture. Understanding that culture comprises a dynamic and interrelated set of social, economic, and belief structures is key to understanding how the whole of culture operates. A cross-cultural perspective demonstrates the incredible flexibility and plasticity of the human species. Human beliefs and practices come in all shapes and forms. Everyone has culture. Yet, like accents, we tend to notice cultures more when they differ from those we are familiar with. In the United States, there's a tendency to view minorities, immigrants, and others who differ from white middle-class norms as people with culture. By differing from mainstream patterns, a group's culture becomes more visible to everyone. The more culture in the sense of the term one appears to have, the less power one wields. People make sense of their worlds and order their lives by participating in social groups. Today, culture may be transmitted face-to-face or virtually using a variety of technological innovations. In either case, culture must be shared among members of a group. Cultural constructions refer to the fact people collectively build meaning through common experiences and negotiation. A construction derives from past collective experiences in a community, as well as lots of people talking about, thinking about, and acting in response to a common set of goals and problems. Cultural relativism, interpreting another culture using their goals, values, and beliefs rather than our own to make sense of what people say and do, is a central means of overcoming ethnocentrism, and it is a major feature of the anthropological perspective on culture. Understanding another culture in its own terms does not mean that anthropologists necessarily accept and defend all the things that people do. There are a variety of workable definitions of culture. but let's consider one. Culture consists of the collective process that makes the artificial seem natural. This definition emphasizes that those feelings of naturalness people experience about their beliefs and actions are in fact artificial, that is, humanly constructed and variable across social groups, and they can change somewhat quickly. Presenting culture as a dynamic and emergent process based on social relationships leads anthropologists to study the ways cultures are created and recreated constantly in people's lives. Technically, nobody can own the collective processes that make the artificial seem natural, but conflicts arise over claims of the exclusive rights to use symbols that give culture power and meaning. This is the phenomenon of cultural appropriation, the unilateral decision of one social group to take control over the symbols, practices, or objects of another. For example, the controversy over Native American team mascots. In summary, at the heart of all anthropological discussion of culture is the idea that culture helps people understand and respond to a constantly changing world. As we have discussed, culture consists of the collective process that makes the artificial seem natural.